Assalamu alaikum everyone, welcome back to Small Talk. Just a quick update on the stock market today, why it was rallying, and for the whole week preview, and also close of week and what to expect next week and going forward. The stock market has been rallying this week since Monday. There was a news that came up from the White House. There was a meeting that took place behind closed door, in which one of the representative of White House had said that tariffs on China is not sustainable and needs to be taken care of or reduced, which kind of gave the stock market an optimism, and everybody started feeling relieved a little bit. Investors started putting money into the stock market, assuming, thinking that White House does realize that, and Home Depot CEO, after he spoke to Donald Trump and he mentioned that there's only 1 month worth of supplies left in the shelves, and Donald Trump had promised to lower the tariffs on China from 145 to 50, down to 50%, which kind of gave stock market relief and investors, it boosted investors' confidence, and they started dumping money into the stock market. And as a result, the stock market has been rallying since Monday. Why was Tesla rallying? This morning when I woke up early, I saw that stock market was down a little bit for a short while, then they started rallying at 9 o'clock in the morning. There was kind of a mega squeeze that took place this morning and all day today. The reason why stock market was rallying is because Trump has announced that he's going to release some of the tariff restrictions that he's imposed on certain countries. Also, he said he's in talks with China. However, China claims that they're not having any talks with the US. And I was listening to one of the White House representative or one of the administration from Donald Trump's team. And when he was asked the question that China is denying to have any kind of talks with US, they said what China will never admit if they're talking to the US or not, but we know that they're scared. They want to lower the tariffs and they want to work with the US, and we're not doubting that. Of course, everybody wants to trade with everyone, and everybody wants to be able to import and export within their counter partners and their trade partners. But the question, he's been just kind of bluffing the question and never answered whether whatever Trump is saying is right or not. In my humble opinion, I think China is not having any talks with Donald Trump. Donald Trump is just making up the story. It's on his wish list that China will pick up the phone and call and start negotiating with him. However, China has not made an effort to negotiate with the US government. And that's why whenever they're asked this question, they don't give you a straight yes or no answer. Why was Tesla soaring today? Tesla had like a mega squeeze this morning, and the reason why Tesla was soaring, there was a news that came out from the Department of Transportation saying that they're going to look at easing restrictions and regulatory policies on autonomous transportation and full self-driving cars as well, which made Tesla soar, and people started buying into Tesla, and Tesla went through a mega squeeze. Today alone, Tesla had soared about 10%. This whole week was the best week since November, since the election, and Donald Trump has been elected. Tesla had its best week. It went up 18% so far in the week. Today alone, it soared up 10%. And the reason, there were like multiple news that came about easing on tariff. Elon Musk's spending less time at the White House serving Doge starting May, only maybe 2 days a week, and the rest of the time he's going to be spending on his business or businesses. And number three, the news that came out today, that Department of Transportation is going to ease regulatory policies, and all those bullish news kind of built the momentum for Tesla, and Tesla soared this whole entire week, and it had the best week in a while. So what do I think that we should do as traders? I know I've been saying that sell every rip. This market is sell every rip and then wait for the dip. But when I look at all the news that came out this week, I feel like we have so many bullish news that came out. Donald Trump easing tariffs. Jerome Powell is not going anywhere. There may be possibility of lowering the rate very soon. Also, Elon Musk is cutting his time at Doge and White House, and then Transportation Department is easing the regulatory restrictions. And the earnings so far, all the companies who have announced their earnings, the earnings are not that bad, except for for the few exceptions. For example, Tesla had bad earnings and stocks still soared. In fact, I said in my previous video, a friend of mine who I trade with sometimes, she called me and she was like, Tesla had horrible earnings. Why is it running? And I said, why wouldn't it run? All that bad earning and the bad, like low deliveries and low production was already priced in. That's why the stock dropped from 480 to $215. So everything was already priced in. The market was expecting the earnings to be bad, and that's why they pulled the money out of the Tesla stock, because they knew that when earnings are released, of course, market stock is going to crash anyway. So everybody wanted to lock in their profit, and that's why people took their money out, and everybody bought back that dip once all the investors left. And now, once the earnings were announced, everybody was looking for the outlook of 2025 and 2026, which there were a few things that were announced which gave investors the confidence, and that's why Tesla started picking back up again. So earnings have been pretty decent. Intel had decent earning. It beat the Wall Street expectations. However, the outlook for the 2025 was not that great, and that's why Intel dropped so much this morning. So, with the exceptions of those kind of things, where earnings for the first quarter were not bad for most of the companies, and that was also very bullish for the stock market. So, going forward, I think until the next Fed meeting, or until maybe June, July, once this 90-day tariff pause is about to be over, I think in this next 2 to 3 to 4 weeks, maybe the stock market is gonna keep going up, and this is not a good time to maybe sell the rip. If you're a long-term investor, then you probably don't care. It's this short-term momentum. But if you are a day trader or swing trader, then maybe this is the time where you can make some money by buying and selling shares, by maybe swing trading or maybe day trading, etc. So I think it's for now, temporarily, I think the stock market has bottomed, and it's okay to kind of nibble into some of the positions that you want to hold and buy those stocks, and maybe swing trade it maybe for next 2 to 3 weeks, make some profit, and then wait for the next dip, and then buy the next dip again. So I think for the next 2 to 3 weeks, if you had the money sitting on the sideline, good time to buy, because we know this the stock market has rallied this week. I'm not saying there won't be any pullbacks next week. It could possibly very well be that Monday will be a pullback, a red day from all the momentum that we've gained this week. There's always a red day after having so many green days. So those pullbacks are definitely possible. But as far as the market decline or market correction is concerned, I don't think that's going to happen. I think for the short term basis, I think market has already bottomed, and it's a good time to buy and hold the stock for maybe next couple of weeks, make some profits, and then when you see that you've reached the price target that you wanted your favorite stocks to reach, at that point you can maybe sell and wait for the next dip to come, which could possibly come when the 90-day tariff pause is over, and next Fed meeting, which is going to take place next month, I think is on the 22nd, if I remember correctly. I'm not 100% sure. So until then, I think the market is going to keep rallying, with the exception of smaller pullbacks here and there, which is healthy pullbacks. So that's what I'm going to do. I actually am fully invested right now. Today, I put in all my extra cash that I was holding on the sideline into the market, and I'm going to take some profit next week or maybe week after. I have put in the money to some of my favorite stocks that I wanted to buy, which I thought that they have bottomed to the point where it's a good entry point for me for now in the short term. And then maybe I'll sell them within next week, 2 weeks, and then I'll wait for the next dip, and then I'll buy back again after the next correction has been done and completed. It's also a possibility the next correction may not come, because maybe Donald Trump will just work with the countries, with other nations, and he will settle down this tariff drama, and then also maybe China and US will have communication, and they will come to some terms, and the agreements will be signed. And then also Jerome Powell, maybe he'll think that it's time to cut rates. At that point, I think market may not even dip. But in my humble opinion, I think there's a very real chance that it might dip in maybe June, July, more like in the summer months. So that's what I'm doing. I hope this video, I just wanted to give this small update, a preview of the week, and then also my plan for next week. I hope this video helps. Please give my video a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Please be safe, be very careful, don't invest the money that you're not willing to lose, and go make some money. Take care.